So let's look at performing integer operations with powers. So let's say we had the mathematical expression as follows. Negative 2 to the power of 4 plus minus 1 to the power of 3 plus 5 bracket minus 2 to the power of 4. So how would you do this mathematical problem? Well, first off, we have to follow the rules of BEDMAS, right? Because BEDMAS tells us the order of operations, or in other words, which operations to perform first in the expression. Just to recap, the B in BEDMAS stands for brackets, E stands for exponents, D stands for division, M stands for multiplication, and A and S stand for addition and subtraction, respectively. So in this problem, we see that there's brackets here, there's an exponent here, and exponent here. Okay, so according to BEDMAS, we have to take care of the brackets first. So what's in the brackets? Well, we have a -1 and a -1, right? So if you remember from integer subtraction, a -1 minus 1 gives us a -2. Okay, so the brackets, this results in a -2 because -1 is a -2. And then we still have the 3 exponent, and then we have the -2 to the power of 4, and then plus 5 bracket minus 2 to the power of 4. Okay, so now the next step is to take care of our exponents. Okay, so to deal with our exponents, so then the 4, 3, and 4. So what that means is we have to perform the operations involving the exponents. Okay, so we have to carry out the -2 to the power of 4, and the -2 in brackets to the power of 3, and the -2 in brackets to the power of 4. So how do we do this? Well, before we move on to this problem, I want to demonstrate to you the difference between some of these concepts. Okay, because for example, let's say we had a -2 to the power of 3. This is different than -2 to the power of 3. Why is it different? Well, in this case, the exponent 3 is only applied to the 2. The negative is out front and is not affected by the 3 exponent. However, in this case, the 3 is actually applied to the negative as well because of the brackets. So the key thing here is the brackets, because the exponent 3 is on top of the brackets, right? But in this case, it's just on top of the 2. So this is important because these two problems, although they look similar, give us different results. Okay, so let's try it. So the 3 is only applies to the 2 here. So we have, okay, so first let's take care of the 2 to the power of 3. So what's 2 to the power of 3? 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, which is 2, well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Okay, so 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So we have an 8. And then we have the minus. Okay, so this is our final answer. -2 to the power of 3, written like this, the answer is -8. So let's see what the answer to this problem is. This is -2, all in brackets, to the power of 3. Okay, so that means that it's -2 times -2 times -2. See the difference here? In this case, it was just 2 times 2 times 2, right? Because the negative was not involved with the 3. The 3 only applied to the 2. But in this case, the 3 applies to the negative as well. So what's our answer in this case? Well, we do the same thing, right? We just multiply these 3 numbers out. So we will get -2 times -2, first of all, is 4, right? because we have a negative and a negative, and when we multiply two negatives together, we get a positive 4. Okay, and then that's being multiplied by the negative 2 here. So what does that give us? 4 times negative 2. Well, that gives us a negative 8, right? Because 4 times a positive number times a negative number is a negative number. So the answer to this problem is negative 8. So as you can see, in this case, the answer actually turns out to be the same. Okay, but this is not always the case. You have to be careful. Okay, in this case it turned out to be the same, but there is a reason for this. But this is not always the case. Whenever you have a negative 2 to the power of 3 written like this, and a negative number, any number for that matter, to the power of a number written like this, it's not always going to be the same answer. Okay, so let me show you why. So let's erase this. So let's say we had negative 2 to the power of 4 and a negative 2 written like this to the power of 4. So let's first compute this. So this would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, right? Because the 4, the exponent, is only applied to the 2. So what does this give us? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, right? So that gives us a 16, and then we have a negative up front. So the answer to this problem would be minus 16. Now let's look at this problem. We would have a minus 2 times a minus 2 times a minus 2 times a minus 2, right? So a minus 2 times a minus 2 gives us a positive 4, right? Then we have that being multiplied by minus 2 here, and then that being multiplied by minus 2. So what's 4 times minus 2? It's negative 8, right? 4 times minus 2 is negative 8. And then you have to multiply that by minus 2. So now what's minus 8 times minus 2? Well, we have a negative and a negative, right? So it's going to give us a positive number, right? And then we have 8 times 2, which is 16. And it's positive because we have a negative and a negative, right? So then our answer here is 16 or positive 16. So as you can see here, these two answers are different. Okay, so it's not always the case, as we saw in the problem that we just did, that minus 2 to the power of 4 written like this and minus 2 all to the power of 4 will produce the same answers. As you can see here, the answers are different. So this was just a side note to help you remember the rules when you have integers being raised to the exponent. So let's get back to our problem now. So back to our problem. According to BEDMAS, we have to deal with the exponents, right? So let's deal with the exponents. So we have a minus 2 to the power of 4. Well, I think we just did that, right? We just did minus 2 to the power of 4, and we got 16. Or sorry, we got minus 16. Yes, we got minus 16 because we did 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which gave us 16, and then we have the minus up front, so that gave us minus 16. Okay, so then next we have minus 2 all in brackets to the power of 3. So let's do that here. So we have minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2. So what does that give us? Well, minus 2 times minus 2 is a positive 4 times a minus 2. So we have a positive times a negative number, which will give us a negative number, right? So we just carry out the integer multiplication. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8, but it's going to be a negative. So we're going to have a plus minus 8. Okay? Hopefully that's clear. So next we have plus 5 multiplied by the answer to this. Well, this is minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2 times minus 2, right? Because it's raised to the 4. So we have we have negative 2 being multiplied by itself 4 times. So what does this give us? Well, we have minus 2 times minus 2, which gives us a positive 4 times a minus 2 times a minus 2. So positive 4 times a minus 2, it gives us a negative 8 times a minus 2. So minus 8 times a minus 2, what does that give us? Well, it gives us a positive 16, right? Because we have a minus times a minus, which is going to give us a positive number, and 8 times 2 is 16, so this is going to be 16. Okay, so now we've simplified our equation up to this point. We have no more exponents, so let's go back to BEDMAS. We have no more brackets, exponents, we have no division, we have no multiplication. All we're left with is addition and subtraction. And remember, with addition and subtraction, according to BEDMAS, addition and subtraction have equal priority. They have equal priority. However, we have to perform them from left to right. Okay, so from left to right. So that means going from left to right, we just have to perform these operations. So we have to first of all, we have to do 16 plus a minus 8. Okay, and then we have to add whatever this is. Sorry, we do have a multiplication here. Okay, so we have to perform this first. Yes, because multiplication comes before addition and subtraction. Yep, sorry, I didn't see that. So yeah, so we have to multiply this first, the 5 times 16, but this is fine. This won't affect our answer. So what's 5 times 16? So 5 times 16 is 80. So that gives us 80. Okay. So now we can go ahead and go do the addition and subtraction from left to right. Okay. So we have a negative 16 plus a negative 8. So what does that give us? Gives us a negative 24. Okay. So we have negative 24 plus 80. So now it's just simple, just adding an 80 to a negative 24. So what does negative 24 plus 80 give us? It gives us a positive 56, right? So the answer to this problem is a positive 56. If you have difficulty in doing this problem, negative 24 plus 80, you can reverse it. You can go, well, what's positive 80 subtract 24? That's a positive 56, right? So whenever you have this case where you have a negative in front of a positive, you can always reverse it. So you can ask yourself, instead of doing minus 24 plus 80, you can do 80 minus 24, and that will give you the same answer, which is 56.